Ecclesiasticus chapter 38, verse 24. The wisdom of a learned man cometh by the opportunity of leisure, and he that has little business shall become wise. First and foremost, I want to say, Call Halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, which is all praises to the Most High Yahweh in the name of his son Yahushai. Double honor to the head apostles of Israel, which are the apostles at Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from. And salutations, peace, love, and blessings to the men that are pushing the gospel of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai in sincerity and in truth, and to the men, women, and children that staying in the spirit to the best of their ability, to the house of David, which is the elect that Yahushai is coming back to deliver. All right, this lesson just basically going to be on the topic of make this work, make this truth your priority. All right, because ultimately that's what is going to get you delivered out of this hell. We're in this world, but we got to remember what is the main goal. All right, we got to remember what is the main mission. We got to remember what is should be the first priority. And this truth, man. Being in this truth, becoming more wise in this truth, because you got men that are falling out left and right, man. The Lord is taking the spirit from these people that were in this truth left and right, man. All right, the Lord is doing a sifting process. All right, and it's happening daily. In 1 minute you could be in this thing, the next minute you could be out. All right, so you got to just prioritize this truth, because we have to end. Okay, so hopefully this is edifying. So I'm gonna read it again. Ecclesiasticus 38 and 24. It says, the wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure, and he that has little business shall become wise. All right, so this is how you become wise in this truth. This is how you become more grounded. This is how you become stronger in the spirit, is by taking the time that you have, your so-called downtime, and applying it and using it for the truth. Okay, not using it to get women, not using it to do overtime at slavery at your plantation, not using it to go out and trying to be in every club scene, or be at every show or concert. It's about becoming more wise in this truth, man. All right, because the scriptures tells us in Isaiah the 33rd chapter that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding should be the stability of our times. All right, in the times that we're coming into, you're going to need wisdom. All right, that's what's going to keep you stable. Okay, not money, not women, not a house. None of those things are going to keep you stable. It's going to be the wisdom and knowledge and understanding of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right, so this is Proverbs 30 and 8. It says, remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me. All right, and I bring this scripture out because you got people that was in this truth, and the reason they fell out, one of the main reason they fell out, is because they were trying to become comfortable in this world. Okay, they were trying to gain more money, gain more riches, this fiat money in this world. Okay, so this is why the scripture is here. It says, remove far from me vanity and lies, because once you start believing in this system, you're believing in a vain thing. Once you start believing in this capitalistic society, all right, believing that the more money you gain, the better off you're going to be, you're believing in vanity and lies. All right, so that's why it says, give me neither poverty nor riches. Now, we don't want to be dead broke bums. All right, we don't want to be living like a bum, because scripture tells you that the life of a beggar is a horrible life. All right, it's better to be dead than to have a life of a beggar. But also, the Yahushai spoke about how hard is it for a rich man to make it into the kingdom of heaven. So you don't want to have a poverty life, all right, and you don't want to be somebody that just has riches, because both of those things is going to take you away from the scriptures. All right, it's going to take you away from gaining more knowledge in this world. All right, so it says, feed me with food convenient for me. So just ask the Lord to give you what is necessary for you. Okay, what is going to make you to be stable. All right, what is going to make you to be able to live day by day. All right, verse 9 says, least I be full and deny thee, and say, who is the Most High? Who is Yahweh? All right, so that's what happens when you become rich. You start forgetting about the scripture. You start forgetting about the true works of the Lord. All right, you start forgetting about the true meaning of life. All right, the true meaning of what your purpose of life should be, because now you're just living lavishly. Now you're thinking like there's no care in the world. You're thinking like life is great, so you forget your power. You forget Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. All right, it says, or at least I be poor and steal and take the name of the Most High in vain. All right, and if you poor, you don't have time, to try to. You're always thinking about trying to get money. Basically, you're always thinking about trying to feed yourself, trying to get satisfied. So if you're that poor, you're only thinking about how to get in a better situation. So that's why it says, just give me the food that's convenient for me. All right. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 7. It says, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. Now, I got this scripture because I know men personally who, once they got a gift, all right, once they were presented with presents, once they were presented with things of the flesh, they stopped pushing, man. They stopped going out, and literally 7 more demons jumped on them. Okay, they started questioning the doctrine. They started questioning, why do we have to go out all the time? All right, they started, thinking that the truth isn't as serious as we are making it seem. Okay, the gift, all right, destroyed the heart. Okay, and that gift could come as monetarily gift. It could come as a woman. All right. You shouldn't be trying to be all up underneath your woman or trying to get all types of bitches, women every weekend, man. All right, because that's going to destroy your mind. Okay, that's going to destroy your spirit. Being in that austere, in that serious spirit, because you're all on a woman. Trying to get be a Mac Daddy, so to speak. Your mind's going to be destroyed, man. Okay, you're supposed to be in an oppressed state. Why? Because that's going to continue to, if you continue to be vexed, you're going to continue to seek the true comfort, which is the scriptures. All right, you're going to continue to seek the true knowledge of, of what this world really is about. But once you start getting in that happy-go-lucky spirit, then what? You start forgetting about your oppression. All right. This is Revelation chapter 3 verse. I start at 15 on down. It says, I know thy works, that thou neither cold nor hot. I would that thou wert cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. All right. So you got men who know that they know that they're Israelites, or know the name of the Lord. Okay, man went out on the highways and byways, but their spirit, is not fervent in the Lord. They're lukewarm. Okay, so the Lord said, even if you're lukewarm, He's going to spew you out. Okay, so reading on verse 17, it says, because thou sayest, I am rich and increased with goods and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable, poor and blind and naked. See right there. Because you say in your heart, you say in your mind that you're rich and you're increased in goods. I got a good job. I'm getting raises. My boss is taking me on trips. I have maybe to get my own apartment now. All these things, you're thinking in your mind that you're good. You don't have a need of nothing. All you need is your job. And continue to work. Continue to be a good slave, and then you're going to be good. Your mind has been polluted. You fell into a wiles of Satan to make you think that this life is really all is about trying to be stable and having that nice house and that woman and all that. You thinking that that's life, okay? But really, you don't know that you're miserable, you're poor, and you're blind, and you're naked, okay? And then ultimately, you're going to be destroyed, because the Lord is going to come like a thief in the night and sweep all that away from you, and then you're going to be left with nothing. Then you're going to be trying to seek the wisdom and knowledge of the Lord, and you're not going to have it, because He took His spirit away from you. And if you don't have the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai on you, then you're dead. You're dead. While you trying to get riches now, you're supposed to be storing up your riches in heaven, man, where moth and corruption does not happen, man. But what? You fell to the cares of this world, the deceitfulness of riches of this world, and soon enough, this whole economy is about to be in shambles. So your whole life is about to collapse right before your eyes, and you ain't gonna have no stability, man. That's why it's important right now to prioritize this truth as your riches, because this is the only thing we got, man. This is our riches. Okay, this is where we put our trust in, not in this world, man. Okay, not in Esau society. All right, this is Psalm 62:10. It says, "Trust not in oppression." All right, once you start thinking that, as long as you can get a better job and make more money, and then I'm gonna be sad, I'm gonna be good. You starting to trust in oppression, man, because we are in an oppressive state. All right, we are in slavery right now. Okay, and we're going to continue to be in slavery until the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of Israel is established, until Yahweh Shai comes back. All right, so that's why the scripture says, "Trust not in oppression." The more you think that you try to make it here in America, you're trusting in oppression. All right, it says to become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them. If you gain more money, if the Lord has it to where that you do get a better job, you're not supposed to set your mind a heart upon that, man. You're not supposed to make that your rock. The scriptures, Yahweh is still supposed to be a rock, man. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is still supposed to be a rock. You're still supposed to say, fuck this life, fuck this money, I want the kingdom of heaven. I'm not going to get comfortable here because this is not our rest, man. But what? You fell into the trap, man. You fell into the snare, and then ultimately you wasn't a part of the elect, and ultimately the Lord sifted you out, and you're going to end up being destroyed, man. Ultimately you're going to be dead because you lost the real riches, which is the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You lost the oil, so now you trusting in this fleshly, this carnal stuff, which is going to end up being to your demise, man. All right, so this is Ecclesiasticus 2:1, 2:12. It says, "Woe be to the faint hearts and faint hands, and the sinner that goes two ways. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not. Therefore shall he not be defended." See, you become faint-hearted, and then you start, trying to establish your own way, start to establish your own righteousness, try to establish your own comfort, and not go into the comfort that Yahweh Shai gave us, which is this understanding of this word. You become faint-hearted, and you start believing not in this word. You start losing the faith that Yahweh Shai is going to, that Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai is going to be our defense in that day. All right, that He's going to take care of us. The scripture says, "I've been young and now I'm old, and I've never seen a righteous forsaken, nor a seed begging for bread." But you start forgetting that, okay? So you stop believing, and then when all hell breaks loose, once the hour of temptation comes, you're not going to be defended. You're not going to have no defense, man, because your money, all right, is not going to be able to defend you in that day. The scriptures tells you that. All right. So it says, verse 14, "Woe unto you that have lost patience, and what will you do when the Lord shall visit you?" So what you going to do since you lost patience, since you didn't keep the works, you didn't keep the patience in the hour of affliction, you didn't keep, your faith in your tribulation, you lost patience. So what you going to do when the Lord visits your ass, man? What you going to do when the Lord takes away your job? When the Lord takes away your woman, all right? When the Lord takes away your house, when the Lord collapses economy. What are you going to do then, man? Because those things are coming. The prophecies already spoke about it, and the Lord said He's not a man that He shall lie. All right, His word would not go out void. So what are you going to do when all that happens, man? When the Lord visits your ass, you ain't going to have no type of answer, man. You're going to be naked. You ain't going to have no garments, all right? You ain't going to have no understanding of the times, all right? And you might even understand what is happening, but you ain't going to know. You ain't going to have no, like that scripture said, you ain't going to have no defense, man. Why? Because you left when you wasn't supposed to, man. You quit when you should have kept going, all right? You took your time of leisure and applied it to this world instead of applying it to the Most High and seeking His righteousness, man. So when that time comes for your calamity, when that time comes for your recompense, you're going to end up, having no covering, and you're going to get that just reward, which is your death, man. Okay, your horrible death, all right? So, for brothers that are in this thing, continue to get stronger in this thing, and don't trust in this world, fuck the gifts, fuck the riches, we trying to get to the kingdom of heaven, man. That's what it's all about, all right? So, with that, hopefully the brothers is edifying and uplifted, and reproved and rebuked, man, okay? In the spirit of power of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. Shalom.